Hello and welcome to another episode of the CUFI Weekly, and this week I want to talk about the absolute explosion of Jew hate we saw in Europe this last week. So if you hadn't seen the news already, and it was severely underreported in much of our news media, a group of Israeli soccer fans who had gone to watch Maccabi Tel Aviv play Ajax Amsterdam were attacked in an organized attack in the streets of Amsterdam. It's shocking to me with all of the footage where they recorded themselves. There was even a warning by Israeli security to authorities in the Netherlands that this is being planned. And the horror stories that have come out of this modern day pogrom days before the anniversary of Kristallnacht is really shocking. The attackers, just like on October 7th, filmed themselves proudly, and you had people being asked in the streets of Amsterdam, in the middle of Europe, if they were Jewish or not, and that would decide whether they were attacked or not. You had people thrown in canals and being told that they had to say free Palestine for the attacks and the violence to stop. What is even more sickening is that you've had people justify these attacks. So-called journalists and other commentators justifying these attacks on Jews because of what is happening in the Middle East. Wherever you fall on the conflict in the Middle East, the attacking of random Jewish soccer fans being justified is absolutely abhorrent. It's the kind of rhetoric that we saw in the lead up to the Holocaust. Now, the difference between then and now is that there is a state of Israel. There is a strong Jewish state with a Jewish military, which is a defender of the Jewish people. Now, here's what's absolutely horrifying about this. In Europe, we are seeing this meteoric rise of anti-Semitism, and it's no longer hidden. The very same continent which murdered 6 million Jews simply for being Jewish is seeing a resurgence of this Jew hatred. The Israeli authorities recently released a list of European countries where they told Israeli travelers to avoid, where the threat of attack was high. England was on this list, France was on this list, Belgium, and many other countries. What is happening? How many times have we heard stories of American authorities having to evacuate Americans from countries where there has been civil unrest? And normally these are in countries which are incredibly underdeveloped and unstable politically. But in the heart of Europe, Israel is having to give Jews advice on telling them to hide their Jewishness, hide their Israeliness. But don't think this is a million miles away. It is very easy for Americans to believe that this is over there in Europe, that this is their problem, because we have seen this hate manifest itself here. We must speak up as Christians, as Americans, as people who love freedom and liberty, as people who stand with our Jewish brothers and sisters, be them in Israel, be them in the United States, or be them in Europe. We have a moral obligation. Tomorrow is too late. The impetus has to be now. We must show, one, that the Jewish community and Israel are not alone, that there are millions of people who stand with them. And two, we must ensure that never again is a promise. We must show every Jew hater that their hatred, their poison, their rhetoric will not go unchallenged. And it is on us. You do not want to look back through the lens of history and look at this period of rising Jew hatred, of pogroms happening in the heart of Europe, of threats of pogroms in the hearts of Europe. Israel is playing France in a matter of days, and Israel has warned Israeli fans to avoid the game. And there has been reports and on social media, people talking about planning something similar to what happened in Amsterdam. Never again is right now, and never again is a promise that every single one of us must take. Anti-Semitism is a disease which impacts the Jewish community, but it is not a Jewish problem. It is a problem that festers in the hearts of non-Jewish people, and we must do everything we can to fight and eradicate this cancer from our society. This is Kasim Hafeez for the CUFI Weekly. For Zion's sake, do not remain silent. Thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get a notification every time a new episode hits. And if you want to check out some of our previous episodes, and we've got some really good ones, click on one of the thumbnails and that will take you right there. And finally, if you want to know more about CUFI and the work we do, go to cufi.org to check out all the resources we have available free to you.